especially when it comes to financial situations or stuff like that, because there's a lot of deception out there. And you realize people don't care who you are, where you come from, what color you are, how much money you have or not. If they can deceive you and get what they want out of you, it's fine. So what happens is you have to be careful about trust. The Bible says that we shouldn't trust no man. We say trust no man to the point that you put all your trust in people. Now, in today's society, people put their trust in cars, houses, jobs, their children, and a lot of things more than they do God. And the reason why they don't put trust in God is because they really don't have a relationship with Him. Anytime you don't have a relationship with somebody, you are only trust them so far. So what happens is, if you don't have a relationship with God, you ain't gonna trust Him. You might say you do, but when tough times come or decision making come, you say, nah, I don't know about that. But when you trust God, you trust Him by what He says in His Word, and what His Word is true. Now, a lot of times people trust their job more than they trust God. Now you got to realize your job is a resource, not a source. Because what they can do today is, you can go to work today or go to work this evening or go to tomorrow, and they can look at you and say, well, I no longer need you. You might have a mortgage, you might have a car payment, light bills and all this other stuff. They don't care nothing about that. All they want to do is eliminate you from that job because they want to save money for the bottom line. Can I teach? So what happening is, trust is very important as a believer. But the thing about it is, who are you trusting? You can't tell me you trust God and don't do the things He said. He said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. People don't keep God's commandments like they used to. They only love God as long as they can see. But you got to realize, you don't see God. I don't see Him, but I see His work. I see His handiwork. I see the sun in the sky. I see the birds, and I see the rain when it comes. So what happened is, the creator of all that is God. Didn't nobody create that. Man didn't create you. God did. So what happened is, if He can do all that, I can trust Him. Can I teach y'all? Go with me to the Psalms chapter 20. The word trust means to put confidence in. To put confidence in. I'm learning more and more as a pastor that I need to put more of my confidence and my trust in the Lord. Because you got to realize, when I trust Him, He'll bring it to pass. When I trust Him, He'll do what His Word say do, long as I trust Him. The Bible says, trust in the Lord. Lean not to our own understanding, but acknowledge Him in all thy ways, and He shall direct thy path. So what happened is, He said, didn't acknowledge me in some ways. He said, all thy ways. So in other words, in any type of situation that I should make or you should make, we should trust the Lord. Number one, I should ask God, shall I do it or shall I not? I should ask God, shall I go or shall I stay? And what happened is, one time we don't trust God anymore because we think God is a Santa Claus, but He's the creator. He's not a Santa Claus, because Santa Claus really don't exist. Santa Claus is a figment of my imagination, of your imagination, that somebody brought up. And what happened is, we celebrate Santa Claus, but we don't praise God. We go through all this Santa Claus stuff, and Santa Claus ain't real, y'all. Ain't no sense in fooling yourself and telling your children about Santa Claus, because what happens when they grow up and find out there is no Santa Claus. Well, Pastor, we should say that. Why you want to deceive your child? Why you want to bring deception on your child and believe something that ain't real? Can I teach y'all? So what happens is, that's what deception does. Deception makes you think something is there that ain't there. Can I teach? Are you there? Are you there at Psalms 20? The Lord hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the Lord of Jacob defends thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings and accept thy burnt offerings, Selah. Grant thee according to thy own heart and fulfill thy counsel. We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our God we will set our banner. The Lord fulfill all thy petitions. Now know I, the Lord, saveth his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots. Let me bring this to today's society. Some trust in cars. Some trust in transportations. Some trust in chariots. Some trust in horses. But we will remember the name of the Lord our God. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand up. This particular song here also goes with Psalms 21, which is behind it. I'm not going to get into all that. What happened is, what they're doing is, they are praising the Lord for the king before the battle. They're giving God the praise before the battle. In other words, I'm trusting in the Lord. I'm not trusting in the chariots that I got. I'm not trusting in the horses that I got, even though they're swift and they're powerful, and I got great archery, and I got great men, and I got power men, but I ain't trusting in that. I need these to win the battle, but I'm not putting my trust in it. In other words, before I go to battle, I'm going to give God glory. In other words, if I go to the battle, I'm going to give God praise. Because I'm going to trust you, Lord, that you're going to bring me through this. And God, when you bring me through this, in other words, I'll be unscathed. When I come through this, I won't be defeated. When I come through this, you'll be glorified. When I come through this, God, I'll be edified. I'll be built up. Because I'm not trusting in my chariot. I'm not trusting in my guns. I'm not trusting in my bow and arrow. I'm really not trusting the men that I got there. But what I'm doing is, God, I'm trusting in you. I'm trusting you because I know you'll bring me through this. I know you'll bring me out of this. You'll bring me through this. And you'll set me on the solid foundation. So, God, I want to put my trust in you. So what he's doing is, in Psalm 20, they're praising him before they go to battle. And Psalm 21, they praise him after the battle. So in other words, the battle was won in Psalm 20. Before they went there, they praised God and gave him the glory. They trusted him. So after the battle, all they done was give him worship and praise. Can I teach y'all? You need, listen, I'm realizing even more in today's society that if you don't trust in God, you'll be weary. If you don't trust in God, you'll be confused. If you don't trust in God, you'll be frustrated. If you trust in God, you'll have tension all your life. But what happens is people say, what am I going to do? It ain't what I'm going to do, it's what he will do. See, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give him the praise. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pray. Then what happens is, then it's up to him. See, when I pray and believe God, it's up to him. It's no longer up to me. Because what happens is, out of the Bible says, let your request be made known unto God. In other words, I done told what I need according to his word. So all I'm going to do is just wait on the manifestation of it. It ain't up to me to do it. Because what happens is I realize I will trust him. See, when you put your trust in God, you'll see something happen. When you put your trust in God, you see miracles. When you put your trust in God, you'll see healing. When you put your trust in God, you'll see manifestation. If you put your trust in him. Can I teach y'all? Amen. Look what it says. Today's society, to trust in someone or something is a very challenging thing to do. Because there's so much deception. I said that in the words today. Deception comes from greed and lust that has been perpetrated by the systems of this world. And this is what they say, by anything necessary. By any means necessary. Let me get money by any means necessary. Let me get rich by any means necessary. If I got to sell dope, let me get some. If I got to sell my body, let me do it. If I got to get on the pole, let me do it. Any means necessary. If I got to rob somebody, let me do it. Any means necessary. So this is what the world system say. And this is what happened. The churches begin to adopt this situation. You know why? Because they don't trust in the living God. 1 John 2:16, go there. First John 2:16. When you start trusting in God completely, you'll look at situations different in your life. Situations don't become situations, they become opportunities. They become opportunities for God to perform something in your life that you've never seen before. Anytime you don't trust somebody, this is what you do, you watch them. This is one thing Jesus done that I'm going to be honest, I couldn't do. I couldn't trust a thief with my money. Jesus trusted Judas with the money. Now I'm just going to be honest. If you're a thief, I can trust you with my money. Because I know you're going to steal. But Jesus trusted him. And he knew that he was a thief. But the thing about it is, this is what happened. What a man sowed, that shall he also reap. Judas stole, but look what happened. In the end, he lost it all. Lost the money and lost his life. Because what he done is, he didn't trust in God. I'm going to show you what he really trusted. He didn't trust in God, even though he walked with God. See, you can walk with God and not trust him. He walked with God, and he saw the miracle that God done. And you got to realize, Judas was also a bishop. So in other words, he walked with God, but his trust wasn't in God. His trust was in what he can get out of God. So in other words, he really had money on his mind. He didn't have Jesus. Anytime you got money on your mind, you ain't really got Jesus. Because what happened is, what it is, you're so consumed about money that Jesus takes a back seat. But this is what Jesus said. He said, I'm a jealous God. I will have no other God before me. Money is a God to some people. Can I teach y'all? Are you there at 1 John 2 and 26? Amen. Look what it says. It says, listen, for all that is in the world, the lust of the what? Flesh. The lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. See, this ain't God. That ain't God. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, that's all that's in the world. That ain't God. God ain't working in that system. Not the God Jehovah, God Rapha, and God Shalom. Not the real God. God is not working in that system. The devil is the God of that system. The devil is working in that system, but God is not working in that. He said, this is not of the Father. So in other words, when lust is this, when the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life, God ain't in it. He ain't in that. That ain't of God. God ain't got nothing to do with that. So do you see what I'm saying? So what happens when you start lusting after things, when I say lusting after things, in other words, when you start lusting after things like money, houses and cars and land, even your children, even your spouse, what happens is you have to realize that ain't what God is all about. Yeah, you're supposed to love them, but you ain't supposed to lust after them. Can I teach y'all? So anything that you love, you'll take care of. Anything that you love, you'll feed. Anything that you love, you'll praise. Anything you love, you'll lift up. So in other words, people don't love God because they, number one, they don't trust him. Can I teach y'all? Go to 1 Timothy 6 and 10. Let me show you something. Can I teach you? Still talking about trust. The spirit of trust. 1 Timothy 6 and 10. Are you there? Amen. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Now, I'm going to show you how people misinterpret this scripture. You hear people say, money is the root of all evil. That ain't what the Bible says. The Bible says money answers all things. Money really is a certificate of exchanging gifts for another. The Bible says for the love of it. Actually what it's saying is the lust of money. The lust of money is the root to all evil. Listen, anything you lust after, you do whatever it takes. When I say whatever it takes, no matter what it is, if it's legal or illegal, you do what you want to do to get it. He said for the love of money is the root to all evil. Case in point, all this evil that's going on in the world, if you look at the root of it, it's lust. It might not be the lust of money all the time, but the lust of the eyes. What happens is, when I say the lust of the eyes, you see something that ain't yours, but you want it. Instead of trying to get your own, you want to get somebody else's. Women see other ladies' husband and they try to get him. Vice versa. So what happens is, what they're doing is they're lusting after something that's not theirs. Why not get your own? Why not get your own? Why you want somebody else's? Get your own. Case in point. Because let me show you something. This is a little sidetrack. If you leave her for you, he'll leave you for somebody else. Vice versa. So what happened is you got to realize lust, what lust does, lust is an appetite that God don't really feed into. Can I teach? Look what it says. Which while some covet after, that means they're lusting after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through the mere sorrow. In other words, people walk away from God chasing money. He said they erred from the faith. In other words, they made an error. They saw the money and they saw God, but they choose the money instead of God. But this is the thing about it is, if you choose God, he'll get you the money. But if you get you the money won't get you God. So what happened is, what Paul was saying, telling Timothy, some err after. Some running after that money. They were happy, they lost the faith. They said, look here, Lord, I understand. This is what they say. The Lord knows my heart. Yeah, he does. The heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? Yeah, he know that. But what he's saying is, if you stick with me, if you do what I ask you to do, I'll bless you. I'll bless you more than you ever been blessed before. All you have to do is just continue to trust me. See, when you put trust in God, when you really trust God, this is the thing is, when you trust God is when you're in the valley. See, people trust God when you're on the mountain because you got everything there. But when you're in the valley, when you ain't got nothing, when the dead will get you and everything is going haywire, that's the time to trust God. And when you really trust God, what happens? Things will begin to happen. Amen? Can I teach y'all? Yes. Clap your hands for Jesus. Here we go. Real trust is tried and tested. Real trust is tried and tested. Real trust. Real trust is tried and tested. Psalms 34:8. Real trust. Real trust is tried and tested. See, when you say you love God and you love the things of God, you're going to be tested. Life is full of tests. There's always a test in life, especially when you walk in faith. When you walk in faith, there'll be test after test after test. But one thing you have to realize, every time you pass a test, you go to another level. See, when you pass one test, God will take you to another level. See, this is the thing about it is, can God trust you? Can God trust us? Can God trust us to do what he called us to do? Can God trust us with his word? Can God trust us with his ministry? Can God trust us with his people? Can God really trust you? Are you really faithful to God? Can you really stick with God even when the things are going down? Can you really stick with God when you don't have when you think you should have? Can you really stick with God when all hell breaks loose? Can you really stick with God? That's the testing time there. The Bible says, thinking not strange concerning the fiery trial, though it's some strange happening to you. See, some trials come to you, they're not strange, they're just common. They're just common because you're not the only one going through it. You're not the only one in that situation. You're not the only one that the enemy is attacked. But what happened is, what you have to do and what I have to do is put my trust in the Lord. Don't put my trust in anything else. Don't put my trust in B&B, the bank. Don't put my trust in First National. Don't put my trust in Wells Fargo. Yeah, they got a policy in place that, you know, they got insurance. But if I put my trust in God, if I put my trust in God, God will restore everything that the cankerworm under the palmer worm has stolen from me. He'll return it. Listen, not only he will return it, but he'll add to it. Look at Job. Look what he did to Job. Job lost everything that he had, but he still trusts God. He lost his family, he lost his children, he lost his cattle. The Bible says he was the richest man in the east. He lost everything. But this what he done is, God gave him back not only what that he lost, but he added to it. Not only did he add to it, he gave him 100-fold different. In other words, God will repay you for trusting in him. Amen. He got 100-fold back. In other words, he got double for his trouble. So he got 100-fold back. He lost 100%, but God gave him 200%. You understand what I'm saying? Because he trusted in the Lord. Yeah, he made some mistakes, but he still trusted God. Can I teach y'all? Yeah. Psalms 34:8. Taste. When you taste something, you got to put it up to your mouth. You got to put it up to your mouth. I can give you some tea or some coffee or either cake, anything, but you got to taste it. You can look at it all day long and say it looks good, but you got to really taste it. Because everything look good ain't good. I had seen some cakes that were real good, but when I tasted it, I said, oh Lord. I seen some food, I seen some chicken that were real good, and I tasted, oh Lord. So what happens, you got to realize you got to taste it. And see, everything that looks good really ain't good. Because some stuff don't look good, but it tastes good. In other words, he said, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. In other words, you got to taste God. You got to touch God. You got to pray God. You got to see what God will do for you. You got to trust him. So in other words, real trust is be tried. You got to taste it. How can you taste God? By reading his word. Not only reading the word, but applying to your life. Taste God and see that he's a good God. He's good God all the time. He's good at night. He's good in the daytime. He's good when in the valley. He's good when on top. So taste him and see that the Lord is good. Listen, blessed is the man. So what happens when you begin to taste God, you'll get blessed. He said, blessed is the man what? That trusted him. See, if you don't taste God, you never know. But let me ask you a question, church. Why do people like the taste of the enemy? This is the thing I don't understand. People like the taste of the enemy. They say they don't, but they do what he said instead of God. They'll do what the enemy said. I'm talking about church folk. I ain't talking about the world, because the world does, that's what the world's supposed to do. But look what happened. Church folk say they don't like the enemy, but they do what he say do instead of God. Can I teach? So what happened is, they really don't trust the Lord. They trust the enemy. Now, let me ask you something. When you trust the enemy, this is what you trust. Spiritual suicide. That's all it is. You're trusting the devil because you're doing, people say they love the Lord, but they don't trust God enough to do what God say do. But they do what the enemy says. So what happens is, what you're doing, you're committing spiritual suicide. Spiritual suicide is a slow death. Because people that commit suicide all at one time, they die. But a spiritual suicide is a slow death. Number one, you lose your character. Number two, you lose your praise. Number two, you lose your faith. So now the enemy that's set in. But what happened is, we go through the motion, people go through the motion that they trust God in an hour setting like this. But after this is over, can I teach? Look what it says. There are benefits in trusting the Lord Jesus Christ. There are benefits. And there's benefits in trusting the devil. But there are bad benefits. See, every benefit ain't good. Go with Psalm 37, verse 3. Can I preach? There are benefits in trusting the Lord. The Bible says, trust the Lord, oh my soul, and forget not his what? Benefits. There's benefits in trusting God. The thing about it is, as a believer, if we trust God, there's benefits. Do you want your benefit package as a believer? Because it comes along with trusting the Lord. When you start trusting God, you have benefits that you never had before. Can I teach y'all? Are you there? Psalm 37, verse 3. Look what it says. Trust in the Lord and do good. So shall thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be what? Favored. See, God will take care of you. He said, trust in the Lord and what? Do good. When you trust God, he said, listen, so shall thou dwell in the land, and thou shalt be fed. Now let me tell you about this fed part is. It ain't when he say fed, he ain't only talking about natural food. He gonna feed you, listen, he gonna feed you with opportunity, he gonna feed you with joy, he gonna feed you with love, he gonna feed you with understanding, he gonna feed you with wisdom. He gonna feed you. You need these things to operate in the kingdom of God. Because you got to realize, number one, these are also the fruit of the Spirit. So in other words, what God's going to do, I will feed you something that you don't have. But I'm going to feed you something that you need. Yeah, the natural food, yeah, but when I'm going to feed you something, that's what happens when I feed you this will have you to walk straight. This will have you walk where you need to go. This will have you where you won't be sidetracked by what somebody else is saying or what the enemy do. In other words, I'm going to feed you some wisdom and some knowledge and some understanding. So now when I feed you this, you have to realize on the other side of this, It's opportunity, there's prosperity, there's love, there's joy, there's peace, there's goodness, there's gentleness. All of this comes when you trust in God. If you trust God. See, this is one thing I realized. When I trust God, miracles happen in my life. When I trust God, things happen that I never thought would happen before. When I trust God. And a lot of times when you trust God, God allows you to wait a while. That's why you need the spirit of patience. You need to wait on God. Because when you start waiting on God, this is what happens. This is what happens. In your waiting time, you should have a prayer life. See, this is the thing about it. When people wait on God, they don't pray. But see, when you wait on God, you need to be praying. Not only praying in the natural tongue, but you need to pray in the spirit. You need to start praying and start praying and ask God, say, Lord, I thank you. Give me an interpretation of what I'm praying. When you start praying, this is what happens. Your spirit man will begin to rise up and you begin to realize that God is answering your prayer. You begin to realize God, He is God and there is no other. You begin to realize that God, I'm trusting you. I don't care what happens, but I'm going to trust you. I'm not going to trust in my chariot. I'm not going to trust in my horses. I'm not going to trust in my 401k. I'm not going to trust in my job. I'm not going to trust in my family. I'm going to trust in you, Lord, because what you're going to do is you're going to bring it to pass what I need to get done. That's what you're going to do. And this is what's going to happen. In the end, in the end, I got victory over my enemies. I got victory over doubt. I got victory over negativity. I got victory over unbelief. I got victory over my naysayers. I got victory over my haters. I got victory because what I done, I trusted in Him. And I had to do nothing wrong. So he said, trust in the Lord and do what? Good. Then when you do good, Paul said, that what I would do, I don't do. But that what I shouldn't do, that I do. And the reason, oh wretched man that I am, He gonna deliver me out of this. In other words, anytime you should do good, you ought to do it. Because you have to realize we are free moral agents. We can do what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it. But there's consequences behind what you're doing. Anytime you make a decision, there's a consequence behind it. There's a consequence by every decision that you make. Every decision that you make, there's a consequence. The consequences, listen, are either good or bad. Listen, in case in point, if you make a decision, say, well, I'm going to go to school, there's a consequence behind it. The consequence behind it is that you'll get a good job. The consequence behind it, you'll get better pay. The consequence behind it, you go to another level. But if you don't do it, there's another consequence. Then again, you might be in a poverty line. And again, you might have to go do other things. So in other words, there's consequence behind everything that we do. Can I teach? But when you trust in God, good God Almighty, David trusted in the Lord. David trusts God to the point that, Lord, before I go to battle, I need to call you. Before I go up into these Philistines, I need to ask, shall I go? Lord, shall I go there? And then what happened, God would tell him to go. He said, Lord, I trust you. Because I know you can see further than I can see. I can only see up to the next hill, but God, you can see over the hill. So Lord, I will trust you. When I trust you, God, what's over the hill, you'll take care of that. All I got to do is trust you, Lord. If you tell me to go, the battle really already won. Can I teach y'all? Are you trusting God? Today you ought to put your trust in the Lord. If you put your trust in God, you see something happen. You see things change in your life. This would happen. You'll start changing the way you think. You'll start changing the people that you'll be around. You start changing your conversation. Your conversation will change. Your conversation won't be so negative. Your conversation won't be so doubtful. Your conversation won't be about unbelief. It'll be about the goodness of the Lord. It'll be about the blessing of the Lord. It'll be about how good God is. What God's doing for you. You'll be giving a praise report on how good God is. Even when your haters start talking about you, you say, Lord, bless them. Yeah. Bless those that hate you and praise you. You'll begin to bless because you're trusting in God. You're not trusting in the words that they're throwing at you. You're not even receiving that. Can I teach y'all? Look what it says. It says, go down to the 5th verse in the 37th chapter of Psalms. Commit thy ways unto the Lord. This is something that I see a lot of, that people don't know the ways of God. How can you commit to something that you don't know what it is? See, when you commit your ways unto the Lord and trust Him, this is what He'll do. He'll bring it to pass. The Lord had promised me something. And I've committed my ways to it. I hadn't dotted every T, crossed every I, don't get me wrong. But I've committed my ways to the Lord. It hadn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. So what I'm doing is, I'm staying in the path that God's got me. And the thing about it is, sometimes things look bleak. Help me, Holy Ghost. Some things look bleak because what I do sometimes, I look out of my natural eye. But what I do is, the Holy Spirit in me begins to tell me, son, don't look at that. And this is what the Lord told me, he said, what I promise you. He didn't already promise me something. And I realized, and he told me this morning about 1:30 in the morning. I got up this morning about 1:30. As a matter of fact, I went to bed kind of early last night. Me and my wife, I guess we were tired. I don't go to bed early. I really don't. But I went early last night. I began to rest, and the Lord woke me up about 1:30 in the morning. And a lot of times when I get up in the morning, I can't sleep. So what I do is I go get my cell phone because I got my Bible on my cell phone. Because my house be dark, so I don't have to cut a whole lot of lights on. I don't want to wake my wife up. I get my cell phone and I start going through the scriptures. And the Lord began to tell me, say, son, remember that I told you that I'm going to do? I said, yeah, Lord. He said, don't worry about it. God has promised me a great blessing. But it involves this church. It ain't just me, but it involves this church. What God had promised me, it is really a miracle. What God has promised me, it is astronomical. So what happened is, what God done yesterday, the Bible says, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let his word be established. God keep telling me that. Now, this is the thing about it is, he didn't tell me through my natural ear, he told me through my spirit. So what happened is, as long as my spirit man alive, I can hear God. See, if your spirit man is dead, you can hear God. And what you do is, you make your decision out of your flesh. I didn't know. And when you make when you make your decision out of your flesh, it's a lot of times it's wrong. And then when you see the consequences behind it, you say, well, Lord, you told me. No, he didn't. He didn't tell you that. You told yourself that. So he told me this morning in my spirit, oh, Lord. And I began to get happy again. Because I realized what God is trying to do. Good God Almighty. Man ain't got nothing to do with it. But man gonna be a part of it, but man ain't got nothing to do with it. And he didn't told me this. And the reason why he didn't told me this numbers of times. And I said, Lord, whoa. I said, Lord, I'm trying to do certain things, but there's a block now. Good God Almighty. But this is what it is, Deacon Wilkie. It ain't a block. What the Lord is doing is, he said, your blessing's on the other side. All I want you to do is just trust me that your blessing is there. Not that you see it with your natural eye, but it's on the other side. But what happened is, when God get ready for that blessing, he going to open up that door. And this is what the blessing going to do. It's going to do it. Good God Almighty. Listen, but the blessing ain't just for me. It's for this whole church. So God, I say, I thank you, Lord. Because what happened is, I'm trusting him. I ain't trusting in my bank account. I ain't even trusting the church bank account. But I'm trusting in him. Yeah. He's my banker, huh? He's my banker. He's my deliverer. He's everything that I need. So I trust in him. And when you trust God, he'll bring it to pass. When you trust God and do good, he'll do good things for you. When you trust God, sometimes he'll bless you. I'm going to tell you something. I told the Lord the other day, I said, Lord, I'm a little low on money here tonight. I'm a little low on the change. I'll be honest with you. I talk to God like that. I don't know about y'all. A little low on change. But God said, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. What I got for you, you ain't got to worry about it. He said, because you've been faithful. You've been faithful. I've been faithful to God. Even when I didn't see my way, I've been faithful to God. And the Bible says he's faithful and just. I've been faithful to God. Even when I get around other people and people try to use me, I still been faithful to God. I hadn't tried to retaliate. I've been faithful to God. But this is what happened. The Lord said, if you trust in me, son, you're going to see a miracle. You're going to see a miracle, church. And this is the thing about it is, help me, Holy Ghost. I hadn't told anybody. And I'm not going to tell anybody till the Lord listen. But this would happen, the Lord going to say, people going to know that I am with you. He said, your haters going to really hate you. And everybody that pat you on your back, Dad, they ain't your friend. They ain't your friend. So when people pat you on the back sometimes, they got a spiritual razor blade in their hand. God, can I teach y'all? Thank you, Lord. God is good. Look what it says. Fear is diminished because there is safety in trusting God's word. Fear keeps a lot of people from trusting the Lord. Go to Psalm 56 and 4. Can I teach y'all? Go to Psalm 56 and 4. Oh, hallelujah. The Lord said, you that been faithful, don't worry about it. He rewards the faithfulness. Psalm 56 and 4, how you there? In God will I praise his word. In God I put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do to me. See, I don't fear what flesh can do to me. Because number one, they can't do nothing to me unless the Lord allow it. But what I do is I put my trust in the Lord. When you put your trust in God and put in his word, and put a praise in your heart and your spirit, God will begin to move some stuff. He'll move some stuff out of your way. He'll move people out of your way. This is what happened, they begin to walk off from you. And you say, what happened? But God is moving them out of the way. There's some stumbling blocks. People are some stumbling blocks in your life. Sometimes you got to move them out, we got to move them out of your way. Because what happened is they're standing in front of your blessing. You got to get them out of your way. You can't let them get in your way, huh? You got to cut them loose, huh? If you don't cut them loose, your blessing will still be there, but you'll never get it. So what happens is you got to cut them loose. You got to get people out of your way. You got to get people out of your life that ain't going the way that you're going. When I said going the way you're going the way of salvation. You got to get people out of your life that don't want to walk with you. You got to get people out of your life that don't want to live right. You got to get people out of your life that want to do all this other stuff. You got to get them out of your life. You got to keep on moving. You got to keep moving forward toward God and trusting the Lord. Because what happened, I say, Lord, I want you to put me in front of people that will help me. God says, son, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. If you do this, you do that, what happens is there's going to be some people that's going to help you. There's some people going to help you do what you need to do. There's some people going to give you something that you need to get. See, all you got to do is just move yourself out of the way of those naysayers. Move yourself out of the way of those who want to sit in the wilderness of life. Move yourself from one, because all they want is to stay there. Let them stay there in the wilderness. Tell them bye. I'll see you later. I ain't got time for that now. Keep on moving with God. Can I teach y'all? So fear diminished because there's safety. I don't fear what man can do to me. I used to be scared of dying. At the time, I should have been, because I wasn't saved. But now, I don't matter. Because the Bible says, be absent from the body, be present with the Lord. See, I trust God. Because one thing about the Lord, I don't think the Lord is going to take me out of this earth to finish what he put in my life. I don't think he's going to take me out here till I get done what I want to get done. I say, Lord, I thank you. Because what happened, what God has got for this church, y'all ain't never seen it before. But when God started doing some stuff in here, y'all gonna say, oh, where did that come from? It come from God. It come from the Lord. It comes straight from it. It ain't come from Pastor David. It come from the Lord. The Lord had already promised us. The Lord prophesied over 11 years ago to my wife. She was not the pastor. She was the assistant pastor. The Lord said, I got certain house ministry in my hand. The hand of God is bigger than the whole world. He got certain house ministry in his hand. If you're in certain house, you're in his hand. He got you. Yes, God. But you got to trust. You got to trust. Let me tell you what trust is. Action. Trust is action. It ain't this, I trust God. Trust is action. If you trust God, you ain't got to talk about it. You got to live it. You got to walk in it. If you trust God. Lean not to your own understanding. What you understand ain't enough. What you understand ain't enough. What I understand ain't enough. What you know ain't all there is to know. What I know ain't all there is to know. I need to know more. So in other words, if I lean not to my own understanding and acknowledge him in all my ways, thank you, Lord. Can I teach y'all? Can I preach? Let me tell you what it says. The Lord said, Self-deception. Say self-deception. Leads to a false trust. Self-deception. Let me tell you what self-deception is. What you think. It leads to a false trust. A false trust. You know what a false trust is? A lie. Self-deception leads to a false trust. But what happened is, when you acknowledge God, this is one thing I like about the Lord. You don't have to be a preacher. See, years ago, and I don't know why people thought like that. People thought God only speaks to preachers. You need to speak to a little more today. And some preachers ain't listening. But what I'm saying is, God speaks to you too. But He don't speak to you like He speaks to me. He speaks to me as for leadership. He speaks to you as individuals. And the reason why He speaks to you as an individual, in other words, what He's saying, follow the leadership of me. Not the leadership of me, but the leadership of the Word. Because when you follow leadership, listen, when you follow the leadership of God, where the leader goes, you go. Can I teach you? Psalms 49:6. Psalm 49:6. How you there? Let me show you something here. Self-deception. They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of riches. This is what it's saying. People that are rich, they trust in their money. Let me tell you something about money. And I told you in the beginning, for the love of money, or the lust of money, is the root of all evil. These are what people say that are rich. I made it myself. You ever heard people say, I'm a self-made millionaire? How you know? Somebody had to help you. Ain't no such thing as a self-made millionaire. Because if somebody didn't give you, you wouldn't have it. You might have started the process, but you didn't make it yourself. You followed the procedure or whatever it was. So what happened is, you got to realize, this is what you call self-deception. Listen, the Bible said the Lord what gives, and the Lord take it away. Let's mean the name of the Lord. Let me show you something. Let me show you a man called Job. Job was the richest man in these. He didn't brag on his riches. But what happened is he lost everything that he had. So let me tell you something. If Job lost everything he had and he was a good man, and was a great man, don't you think the rich man? The Bible says, he that hastens to be rich shall not go unpunished. I used to chase after money. And it led me to bad things. It led me to things that would cause me to hurt my family. Let me tell you something. Every decision, I'm going to keep on saying, every decision that you have a family, every decision that you make affects your family. Every decision that you make, whether good or bad, it affects your family. Every decision that you make, I don't care what it is, the least little thing, every decision that you make will affect your family. That's why you got to make good decisions. That's why you got to teach them how to trust in the Lord. That's why they did in the Old Testament. The Bible, the Lord told them, you teach your children in the morning, teach them at noonday, and you teach them at night. What he was doing is we're getting the word in them. Once they get the word in them, because you have to realize when they get the word in them, they're going to leave the nest. And when they leave the nest, they're going out to this place called the Word. Whatever they know, whatever you taught them, and listen, what they don't know, and what happened is what you taught them, they're going to do. But what happened is, if they're not rooted and grounded in the Word of God, the world going to attack them. And the world going to attack them. When the world attack them, and when the world get your daughters, and the world get your sons, they're going to tell you all this crazy stuff. The spirit of homosexuality is rampant. It's prevalent. And it's dangerous. And it will attack your children. And the reason why they want to attack your children, so you can kill a seed. Anytime you kill a seed, there's no harvest. You want to kill a seed. But you better teach them. You better teach them the way of the Lord. You teach them to trust in God. You better teach them to pray. Can I teach you? Psalm 44:6. Psalm 44:6. It says, for I will not trust in my bow. That means I ain't trusting my 9mm. I ain't trusting my shotgun. Neither shall my sword save me. In other words, I ain't going to trust in man-made stuff. I'm going to trust in what God's got for me. I'm going to trust that his angels encamped around me day and night. In other words, Lord, I'm going to trust you. Even though the enemy might come in, I'm going to trust you, Lord God, that he won't be able to steal anything. I'm going to trust you, Lord. In other words, I'm not going to be self-deception. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having guns and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. But you shouldn't put all your trust in it. You should put your, let me tell you something. Them guns get jammed. Them guns get jammed. But what happened, the word of God, what happened, the Lord is a strong tower. And the Bible said the righteous run in and is safe. You know the words that were happening? When you start trusting in God, you say, Lord, listen, I don't want nobody coming around my house at night. I don't want nobody knocking at my door after 9 o'clock. I don't want it, God. You begin to pray and trust God, God will bring it to pass. Can I teach y'all? Listen here, it says confusion. Listen, confusion is eliminated when our trust is total in the Lord. Go to Psalm 41:1. Let me show you, this is my last scripture. Confusion is eliminated. People that are confused don't trust. People that are confused don't trust in God because they don't know God. But let me show you what it says. Psalm 71:1. In thee, O Lord, would I put my trust. Never let me be what? Confused. He said, listen, when you put your trust in God, he won't let you be confused. When you put your trust in God, he won't let you be defeated. When you put your trust in God, he won't let you be deceived. In other words, Lord, he said, I put my trust in you, Lord. Don't let me be confused. Don't let me be sidelined. Don't let me be manipulated. Don't let nobody get nothing out of me, God, that I don't want to give them. Lord, don't let me be confused. Don't let me walk around, God, not knowing. Don't let me, God, walk around not knowing where the enemy is. God, don't let me know. Don't let me be ignorant, God. I don't want to be confused, God. I will put my trust in you. And when I trust in you, Lord God, I will be intelligent in every decision that I make. Don't let me be confused, God, because confusion really ain't from you. Confusion is from the enemy. Anytime that I'm confused, I don't allow the enemy to get in my spirit. I don't allow the enemy to get in my mind. I don't allow the enemy to get in my stuff. God, don't let me be confused, because I'm going to trust you, Lord. When I trust you, God, my mind is stayed on you, God. I'm not worried about what the enemy can do, because I'm trusting in you, Lord. Long as I trust in you, Lord, I won't be confused, God. I'll be elevated. I'll be educated. I'll be anointed, because I will not be confused, because, Lord, I put my trust in you. When you trust God, you won't be confused. People that are confused, they're trusting the wrong God. They're trusting the little g, which is the God of this world, Satan. Everybody stand there. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Every head bow.